The woman was shocked to find the scheming girl had drawn a lotus mark on her forehead, trying to impersonate her as the destined one to marry the crown prince. And the crown prince who saw this actually fell for it. That same day, he went to the king to accuse Annie of pretending to be the destined one to deceive the royal family. Annie realized what was happening and admitted it on the spot. Then she suggested transferring the engagement to her own sister, the one the man called the true destined girl. Seeing her agree so readily, the man sensed something was off, but he didn't think much of it. Little did he know that in this second life, he was about to lose everything. It turned out that Annie was actually born with the lotus mark as the true destined girl. In her previous life, she used her ability to foresee fate, ignoring destiny itself, exhausting her own lifespan, to help the crown prince fight for the throne. But the scheming girl wanted everything Annie had, so she copied Annie's lotus mark. The crown prince thought Annie was impersonating the destined girl. In a fit of anger, he strangled her to death. When Annie opened her eyes again, she found herself reborn before marrying the crown prince, and she realized the crown prince had been reborn too. Thinking of his cold and ruthless behavior in the last life, Annie decided to play along with him, admitting the crown prince's accusations and decisively breaking off the engagement. She thought without her divination to assist him, she wanted to see what kind of fate he would face. Then Annie decided to choose a new person to support. She found the seriously ill second prince and offered him healing elixirs, predicting a massive sandstorm disaster was coming, and also proposed a detailed plan to deal with it. Although grateful for Annie's help, the second prince didn't trust benefits that appeared out of nowhere. To ease his doubts, Annie offered to become his favored consort. When Annie returned home, the king's marriage decree also arrived. The scheming sister got her wish and was granted to marry the crown prince as the destined one. She even pretended to ask Annie not to blame her, claiming she just really wanted to be with the crown prince and didn't care about status or rank. Annie looked at her scheming sister and the scumbag, thinking how come she didn't notice how well they matched in the last life. But the lotus mark could be faked. Her ability to foresee the future could not be faked. The duke, who understood the truth, wanted his daughter to wash off the mark, because he knew the so-called destined girl only borrowed the sacred blood of the secret art saint. And Annie's mother was the true secret art saint. If this secret was exposed, it would bring total disaster. He even suggested Annie should marry the crown prince instead. But the scheming girl had finally gotten everything. She wasn't willing to give it up easily. Soon the crown prince and the scheming girl offered the king the predicted southern sandstorm disaster and the solution. They thought everything would be the same as in the previous life, and that they would be rewarded as rulers. Feeling proud, completely unaware that a crisis was coming, to take revenge on the scheming girl, the crown prince dragged Annie to the street, publicly accusing her of using cinnabar to paint the lotus mark to fake her destiny. And the scheming girl had already bribed people to slander Annie and spread false prophecies. She even tried to harm her own sister. She thought as long as Annie's reputation was ruined, no one could compete for the crown prince's consort position. She even deliberately mentioned the southern sandstorm disaster, implying it was caused by Annie's nonsense, riling up the crowd. The people shouted that the scheming girl was the true destined one, saying her words were always right, and if it weren't for the crown prince's destiny blessing, the